think about our world today, and I'm not telling you anything new, but I use an acronym VUCA, V-U-C-A, and all the things that are happening in the world with volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Any young person has to deal with this. Anybody in business has to deal with this. One of my favorite sayings is the pace of change never be slower than it is today. So if you don't like change, or if you don't like the pace of change, you need to get used to it. I'll tell you a story about uncertainty and complexity in our business. So we have a facility that crushes sunflower seeds in eastern Ukraine, in a city called Donetsk, which is on the eastern border of Ukraine with Russia. And 2 years ago, we got a call in July saying that some Russian-speaking people had come to our plant and asked and told us that they would need a fee, us to pay them to protect our plants. Well, we're pretty smart people. We've been around. We knew what was going on. They wanted to take over the facility. So we told all of our employees to get out of the plant by the end of the weekends. And we had some dangerous chemicals in there, things for fuel. And so we emptied our plant. And what happened was, it was at the height of when in eastern Ukraine and the conflict between Russia and Ukraine in Crimea and in that part of Ukraine, they wanted, these Russian people wanted to climb on the storage bins to be able to see the Ukrainian army and to know where they were, because it's very flat in that part of the world. So they were using it as kind of a military standpoint. You can't plan for that. So in a matter of days, our whole business plan around that facility to make sunflower oil, our whole budget for that particular, and it was very profitable, gone. And our number one priority was the safety of our employees. We knew that we could never keep that plant, that it was gone, and it's gone. We'll never see it again. So it's lost in terms of political conflict. But that's the kind of uncertainty and complexity that leaders of today, that you will be dealing with as you begin your business careers. You can't plan for that. You have to be able to deal with these four components of business. Number one is having courage to take bold and decisive action, even though you might not be sure of what's going to happen or what the consequences are. Something that we've been very vocal about is deforestation in the Amazon. And we don't own land. We buy the soybeans from the farmers, as I mentioned. And what was happening in Brazil was farmers were going in and burning down the Amazon forest to plant soybeans. We said about 10, 15 years ago, we are not going to buy soybeans from any farm that has been cleared, that has been where the forest has been cleared to grow soybeans. We're not going to support deforestation. Also, 3 years ago, we signed a declaration called the New York Declaration on Forests that said we will do our part. We will be part of a coalition of NGOs, of governments, of civil society, and private sector companies that will do what we have to do to cut deforestation in half by 2020 and end it by 2030. That may not be the best thing for our business model. It may cost us money, but it's the right thing to do. And it was decisive, and I think it was bold, because not every company wants to do that. And so that is a leadership constant. You have to be prepared to step out to do the right thing and live your values. Second, leadership constant, taking a principled approach. And I just mentioned about how important it is to have a set of ethics. And I would like to think that any of my Cargill colleagues that are here today, if you talk to them privately and ask them about our ethics and our commitment to guiding principles, they would tell you that's one of the major things about Cargill. These are our 7 guiding principles, and they have been in place for decades. And I use them often as a reference to guide me in making decisions. And I mentioned we treat people with dignity and respect. We use this principle in that situation with Ukraine and our sunflower plant. But it's a roadmap to say If you have a question about something someone is telling you to do, or of something that a customer or a supplier is telling you to do, refer to this. And it's very easy sometimes when you may be in a dispute with someone and you don't want to lose money on it. The bottom line for us, we obey the law and we honor our business obligations. If we say we're going to do something, we do it. That is part of our guiding principles. Prioritize innovation and ingenuity. So we have a facility here called Cargill One, where we are inventing new ingredients every single day. So it might be a sweetener that goes into bakery goods that tastes better or tastes just as good as sugar, but is lower calorie. Or it might be something, say some chicken that has a delicious sauce or flavoring on it that our customers believe their consumers in turn will want. So we have meat products, chicken products, beef products. Also a secret to growth and a secret to success. You can't keep on cutting your costs. You can't keep on just doing things with technology. You have to come up with new products and new things that people are going to want to buy. So grow your top line as well as keep your costs under control. That's what scaling is, isn't it? So being innovative, and it's not just in your products, it also might be how do you do business? How can you better use technology to make your business more efficient and spend less time so your colleagues, your employees can spend more time thinking about new ideas, new businesses, and new markets. Defining impact broadly. What is our role in the world? And the fact is, making food and working with farmers, touching broad parts of the planet, whether it be farmers or the land or water, the air quality. We have trained hundreds of thousands of farmers into having more modern farming techniques. For example, in Ghana and Ivory Coast in Western Africa, that sources roughly 80% of the world's chocolate, maybe more, cocoa. So we have gone to farmer co-ops in those countries to show them how can you increase your yields, more efficient use of pesticides, how they can increase their volumes, but also how they can do it sustainably. So they're not using child labor, or they're not using dangerous means to grow their cocoa and harvest it. So we recognize we have an impact on culture, on agriculture, on farmers, and the environment. And that's a responsibility of any company. And I mentioned to you our mission to nourish the world in a safe, responsible, and sustainable way, to be responsible to your communities and to the environment.